Okay, as you recall, last week we had the first 3 episodes of Genesis of the Daleks. We're now going to do the second 3 after this. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and Genesis of the Daleks, taken as a whole, has some very interesting dynamics to it. Anybody that's familiar with the John Pertwee years will find that this is kind of a Pertwee type of story. However, it is still probably a little darker and a little more violent than we've seen previously. It seems that in this endless war between the Thals and the Khalids, that they were reduced to more primitive type of weapons. While they had their particle beam weapons, they also had just revolvers and rifles and things such as that, sometimes even just bats and sticks. And the whole idea that Davros was able to communicate to the Thals in our previous review was that by giving them the ability to destroy the Khalid city, that they would then be the victors and the war would end. And in fact, the Thals had already decided after they launched their rocket that what they would do is that they would provide a general amnesty, that they would be more unified, that they would give a very welcoming stance to their former foes and be able to unite the planet. But of course, this was Davros's plan, that they would do the dirty work for him. So all he had to do was send the Daleks over there and destroy their side. It is just similar. I mean, there's so many parallels here to Nazi Germany. They always have to base it on something. And in this case, we find pretty well identified people in black with the insignias on their collars, and Davros himself being the absolute ruler. And in fact, in this time around, we have him in a conversation with the doctor after an interrogation, just saying that if the doctor puts to him this thought experiment, if you could just take a little capsule that would contain a virus that would wipe out all of human life, would you use it? And after pondering it for a very short while, Davros says, well, yes, I would be like a god then. I would have the power of life and death over everyone. And it said something about the type of Hitlerian dictatorship that this was about. Hitler was more interested in power than he was about virtually anything else. So, the problem that we have now is that while both sides have been pretty much decimated, the Doctor and companions still have to get back to their time ring, which has been held in a laboratory at the bunker underneath the Khalid city, and also to take the one directive left from the Time Lords. The Time Lords said that you could either find a way to keep them from being so aggressive, you could find a way to introduce a virus where they would not be able to function as well, or just obliterate them altogether. And the only thing that they had left was total obliteration. So their mission to go back to the laboratory in the bunker was to get the time ring, finish off the Daleks, and get out. Unfortunately, there's always things that get in the way on the way there, and there's kind of a B plot where Davros is concentrating his power, identifying who his friends and foes are, and exterminating everybody that gets in his way. And the Doctor, in the meantime, has a moral quandary as to whether to actually commit genocide or not. He was hoping that that would be the thing he would not have to do. And in the time that it took him to think about this, it caused a great delay in getting that done. And in the end, he did not exactly obliterate them. He set them back maybe 1,000 years, but that at least would save some lives and do some good. Now, the way this was done, I think, is kind of interesting. Once again, we mentioned last time that the sets were done very well. Lots of corridors, lots of hallways, probably more so than we see, and likelihood that a lot of these were the same set, just shot in reverse angle and things like that, and lit a little bit different. And lighting is a big deal about this episode because you see the shadows of the Daleks come out before you see them. You see everything in kind of low light or very localized lighting here and there. Even out on the in the wasteland, it's a very dark and cloudy kind of thing, as if there's been ammunition smoke for all these years. And in the bunker, they have, of course, very dimly lit corridors. Sometimes you don't see people until they come into the light, as Davros did during one of his captures of some of his scientists who were trying to rebel against him. And it also helps to kind of hide some of the cheesier costume effects. I mean, the Daleks are made out of wood and fiberglass, and they would show fairly much, not so much in the resolution of TV at the time, but certainly would now. And the lighting there, by keeping them kind of in the shadows, keeping them more mysterious, the camera angles where they shoot from a low angle to make them look huge, even though they're actually probably only about 5 feet tall in the way they're built. And all of this leads to a very foreboding atmosphere. You can believe that they were at war all this time. You can believe that this beginnings of a police state is really going to be able to happen. We were certain that the Doctor wasn't going to be able to obliterate the entire Dalek race, or else it would kill the show. You have to be able to bring them back from time to time just to keep them rolling. They are, with the Cybermen, the most popular villains on Doctor Who. But I think as far as their use of studio space, which this was all shot in studio, the lighting effects, the camera effects, and I'm not talking special effects, just camera angles, lighting, and the general foreboding atmosphere that was over all of this made this a rather dark episode, but one I believe that largely still holds up. It gives you all of the gravitas that the Doctor has. Now, under Tom Baker, he was one who was a little more frivolous sometimes in his way of portraying the Doctor. He was kind of apparently scatterbrained, although brilliant, kind of diversionary, and did not always get dead serious, but in times when he did, it had a lot of impact to it. So there's a reason that Tom Baker is one of the best Doctors. He basically said that he just played himself, and that was alien enough. And I think that while he was probably using a little hyperbole there, he's not far off the mark. So I hope you enjoyed Genesis of the Daleks, or that you will enjoy Genesis of the Daleks, and join us next time when we will review the next adventure. We also do retro reviews of Star Trek The Original Series. We are covering Picard, as it's about midway through at this point. We're covering other things that are going on. So the Star Wars things, I think we still have another Bad Batch, and we have more of the Mandalorian to come. So plenty of videos to take us up on this week. We hope that you'll watch one or two of them. And until next time, don't go far.